The last Vlogmas ended with me soaking these cashews so that I can make a cashew cream sauce for the tofu paprikash I'm going to be making in just a few minutes. But before we get into that, I want to show you the presents that we're making this year. So my husband is a woodworker and he's making these gorgeous ornaments from the wood fallen in our backwoods. And I am making spice blends. So right here I'm mixing up za'atar. I have a whole variety of blends, like a Cincy chili blend and my own all-purpose spice blend. We're going to be making tofu paprikash this evening. Anyway, I was going to go to the store and get some einkorn flour because I'm out to make some spätzle. And I was going to get eggs too, because, I mean, to be honest, I keep trying to make everything perfectly vegan, and I'm just taking a break during the holidays. I'm still, not going to eat meat or anything like that. I may actually make a cream pie this weekend, because Maddie's coming, my niece is coming, and I'm very excited, and I just want her to have a really good time, and I want to make a pie that I could share with her and our neighbor Becky. I think they would really like it. She's vegetarian and my neighbor is, she's not vegan. Just want her to like it. So instead, I'm going to make the paprikash with potatoes. Well, I'm going to serve it with potatoes. Probably just boil some potatoes or maybe roast them. Probably roast them. And then I'm going to caramelize some cabbage right now. It's going to take a while. You saw that I am soaking cashews because I want to make kind of a sour cream thing, a vegan sour cream, to go into the sauce for our paprikash. I think that would be really good. All right. I love cabbage. When I was a little girl, my mom used to give me salted cabbage. Whenever she was making cabbage, she'd put salt and cabbage and give me a little bit as a treat, and I loved it. So, cheers to Mom. Salted cabbage, the best. Love you, Mom. That's weird. Kiss my cabbage. So I did a previous video where I caramelized cabbage, and I will leave that up above. But basically, I do the water method. So I steam the cabbage in water to wilt it. And I do that for a few minutes, maybe about 5 minutes. And I put a little olive oil in there too, so it doesn't, burn at the bottom. A little olive oil, 1/4 cup of water maybe, some salt. Mix it all up. And then I put the lid on and I just let it steam. The tofu I'm using is thawed from frozen, and unfortunately it's still a little frozen, so we're just going to kind of put it aside for a little bit. I sometimes like to freeze tofu and then thaw it. It gets it very meaty, and it also gets a lot of the moisture out of it. Typically, you soak cut potatoes in water to remove the surface starch, which helps them brown more evenly. These are whole potatoes. I'm just putting them in water just to basically kind of clean them. So I've just prepared my garlic and spices. I'm not going to put them into the cabbage mixture just yet because I'm still trying to brown the cabbage and the heat is kind of high. But once I lower the heat, I will add those. I'll leave the working recipe below in the description box. So with the cabbage, I leave the cabbage pressed down at the bottom of the pan so it can brown. And I leave that for a few minutes, and then I stir it up, and then I do that again. And I do that about 2 or 3 times until the cabbage is mostly golden brown. I want my potatoes to be crispy on the outside and super creamy in the middle. So I'm going to steam them before I roast them. The cabbage is browned. I've lowered the heat, and I'm adding a little bit more olive oil because it's a little dry, and I'm going to saute the garlic and bloom the spices in it. And I'm also adding the cornstarch, so that's another good reason to make sure you have enough fat in there. To make the cashew cream, I just take the drained soaked cashews and put them in a high-speed blender with just enough water to cover. And that's about a cup of cashews, but I'm going to have a lot of cashew cream left over. And then I pour it directly into the paprikash, and I'm going to add some lemon later, and that's going to basically make it a sour cream sauce. So basically I'm creating the sour cream sauce within the pot. I like to use what I have on hand. So I had these stewed tomatoes in the fridge, so that's what I used. If I didn't have either of those, but I had some marinara sauce or tomato paste, that's what I would use. So I wanted it a little tangy, so I squeezed in about a lemon and a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. And the combination of lemon and apple cider vinegar just seems to hit all points. But I did use a little bit too much acidity, and stay tuned because I'll tell you how I corrected it. When you cook creatively without a recipe, you have to taste as you go, because that's the only way you can balance the flavors. I ended up adding a little bit more cashew cream to this and a little bit more paprika because, you know, I taste as I go. And I got it a little too sour, so I had to also add some brown sugar to it to neutralize the tang. Here's a tip. If you salt and rough up your potatoes, you increase the surface area, which allows it to get crispier because there's more surface area to get crispy. And when the oven preheats to 400 degrees, we'll throw those potatoes in there and we'll get some nice crispy potatoes that are creamy on the inside. Now we just have to get this tofu to dry out. It was frozen. I thought I took it out on time. Well, yeah, some of these pieces aren't going to be perfect, and that's okay. I'm going to pan fry them. So I'm just going to put some salt all over these tofu. I'm sorry about the over-the-shoulder filming style. I was just trying something new, but I don't really like it because I keep blocking the food, and there's just so much lint on my sweater. Some oil in the pan. This never works out. Woo! This is not a good way to do it. Definitely not. Why do I always do that? I don't know. I just insist on being dangerous. Dangerous and lazy. Ideally, we would not crowd the pan, but we're doing it because it's a weeknight. So I'm just going to stick it in the oven because there's plenty of oil in there, and I have a really hot oven. I got the potatoes going, and I actually raised the oven to about I'm raising it to about 430 degrees. Why 430 instead of 425? Because I'm a contrarian. It's good enough. I just took it out of the oven. Yeah, just gonna throw it in there. Heat it up a little bit. Lots of sauce there. Yum. I'm gonna let it simmer a little bit, but I'm adding some more water because it's thick. And there's a whole head of cabbage in it. There's vegetables in this. You wouldn't know it. I found no parsley, but I did find some fresh thyme. Thyme would be brilliant in this. I don't know if it's traditional. Not chopping it, not doing a good job chopping it, but it's a weeknight. This is how we do weeknights. Michael will be home soon because I spy on him with the Find My app. I'm just simmering the paprika for about 10 minutes. Look at that. It's really hot, but see? Nice, huh? Listen to that. I mean, you can kind of hear that they're kind of crispy. And they're definitely creamy in the middle. So good. I can't even. You hear my dogs. This is so incredible with the cabbage and the tofu. Yum. We'll throw in some potatoes. I don't have any parsley to make it pretty, but this is really homey. It's comfy food. Well, Michael's home. We're gonna really enjoy this comfort food. So good. I will see you tomorrow when we go live with Leanne. And yeah, it's gonna be really fun. Okay. Thank you for joining me. Bye.
Let's talk about divine.
It's like divine feminine shit.
Divine feminine shit.